Hey everyone, a quick video today where I want to play a 5-minute Blitz game and give some live commentary. So I will put out the seek and hopefully we can find an opponent pretty soon. Also I might have to change the rating boundaries. Here we go. So we're playing white. And I always like to play e4, which is basically my main opening. Hopefully your opponent is willing to play as well. There we go, the French. The French is always a tough opening, I think. Because the position to the riser can be quite complicated. They goes for this tiny line, which I think is probably objectively the best for black. And we just follow a bit of a theory here. And I think I have several options against this line. I do like, I think bishop e2 is a quite modern move, but I might be absolutely wrong on this one. But I'm gonna play it anyway. Queen b6. Right, let me castle. Now there's gonna be some pressure on d4. Which I should be able to hold. But I must admit it looks a bit shaky at the moment. Try to get my bishop protected somehow, so I can unpin my knight. It will be quite nice. I'm gonna achieve that. Maybe just king f2, but it looks a bit strange in my opinion. Okay, let's try to play a3 and b4, just to get the bishop away. But I'm pretty positive I messed up already somewhere in the opening. But that's okay, we can just take it from here. Okay, so he's gonna exchange on d4, I expect. Like everything. Knights, bishops, queens. I'm gonna head straight into the endgame here. Now I have an ugly backward pawn on c2, that's because I had to play b4, so clearly something went wrong in the opening. But I think I can create some counterplay by means of a4. Question is rook c8. Maybe rook a3? Then this pawn will remain a problem for the entire line. And what else can I play? 5? Looks a bit strange. e5, and I don't really get to grab the d5 pawn. Okay, let's first play bishop d3. Even though my rook is absolutely silly on d4. But I do want to protect my c-pawn. And he can't really attack my rook anyway, at least not now. Knight will need a few moves to be able to attack my rook, so it's safe for now. And now I think I'm gonna play a4. Take on d5, pawn takes, rook takes. Two pieces in trouble, which is rook f6. This should save the day for him, but maybe now I can play f5. No, knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes. Not gonna be enough. But then I can take the b pawn, which is hanging, because the a pawn is pinned. Okay, this might be interesting, so I will go for f5. I'm not sure if it works entirely, so it might go totally wrong. We'll see. If I can put pressure on these center pawns, I can activate my pieces. My rook becomes active. And my knight, if I can put my knight on d5, it has a good square to go to. Yeah, so he takes on a4, and I'll take on e6, and I'll take on d5. Now I activated my pieces, and I think I'll capture this one sooner or later, and then this one might become weak. So I'm actually pretty happy with the result here. Yeah, okay, gotta be careful, no knight c3 when I capture here, so... I can take on b5, win the pawn, but this a pawn might be a bit dangerous, so I prefer to grab the a4 pawn first. How do I do that? Maybe rook c5. Now if he goes a3, then I can play the move c4, I think. Kick away the knight, grab the a pawn, and then I'm good to go. I really want to keep my bishop if that's possible, because we have pawns on both sides of the board. And the bishop is normally speaking better than the knight, if you have pawns on two sides of the board. So it would be really nice if I can keep the bishop on there. And now I can take the rook, and I can take the pawn on a4. Now this bishop d3 move was quite useful, because now the c2 pawn is protected. He goes rook c6, and I want to go c4, c5. Just let me check if I'm not weakening any pawns, pieces, or squares, but I don't think I am. Let's go c4. If he goes knight d6, I'll probably go c5. And if he goes back to b5, I'll just grab the knight. Because then I have the pawn on c5 instead of c2. And then I have a protected pawn, which is obviously quite strong. So knight c3, I wanted to go rook here. And just ask the knight where it's heading next. I guess knight d1 is the only move. I'll just push this pawn. a6 is hanging. But I can also just support my passed pawn by playing bishop e4, so I can get the c6 square. But I think I'll just, well, be careful now. Tricky checks, but bishop c4 just wins the game. Wow, that was a bit of a messy opening, but I think, let me go back quickly. The opening I made a mistake, so this bishop e2 probably wasn't the best move. And if it was, then castling was certainly not the best move. Maybe I should take the pawn on c5. And don't get into this nasty pin, which was slightly annoying. After castling takes on d4, knight takes, bishop c5. There's no good way for me to get out of the pin. Maybe I can try to play... Oh, I have to play rook d1, so... And now I think I have to go a3, b4, but I wasn't happy with what happened here. Because as I said, we got quite a normal position for the French, but the big downside is this knight and this pawn, which is very uncomfortable for me. So bishop d7 was probably a decent move. But here I think he should have played another move, because he played knight d8 and he wanted to go... He went to d6, I'm not sure where he wanted to go in the end. But it was a bit of a strange maneuver. Maybe a move like... maybe rook c8 is a decent move. Try to put some pressure on this knight and pawn. Maybe followed by bishop e8, bishop g6, trying to exchange this guy to get access to my position on the c-file. Would probably been a bit better. But what he played, knight e8, a4, and here the key move f5. And I think this is where it all changed, the whole evaluation of the game. And from this point on, taking on a4 probably was a mistake. Because now I have such a good position, suddenly all my pieces are activated. And also very active. So I have threats with knight c7, knight e7 check, knight c7 to win one of these guys, knight e7 check to win this guy, and a4 pawn's under attack. So too many problems for black. He decided to take the knight, but this was just... Yeah, this endgame was just winning for me. Extra pawn, a strong bishop against the knight. and there he blundered the rook. So, right, that will be it for now. If you have any questions about the game or anything I might have missed, just feel free to leave a comment. And thank you for watching.